Welcome to our virtual open day. My name's Ruth Round. I'm the Applicant Support Manager at the Gateway. This presentation is on student finance for UK home students, and hopefully it will answer your questions. But if you do need to contact us after the event, then you can email gateway@wlv.ac.uk, or you can telephone us on 01902 32 1032. So do get in touch with any questions you've got about anything to do with coming to university. So we're a team of education guidance advisors who provide pre-entry advice and guidance. So no question too silly or too small. Do get in contact with us and ask us anything you need to know. So this presentation covers student finance for 2024-25. We expect the figures from the government for 25-26 in January time, so we will update that information as soon as it's available. The figures are for students who currently live in England, so if you are from Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland, then do bear in mind the figures may be slightly different. If you are from outside of the UK, so you're an international student, then you'll need to check what's available for international students, and we'll have a presentation on that. But international students are not eligible for financial support from the UK government. So the presentation today, we're going to go through the eligibility criteria, so that's who is entitled to apply for student finance, the funding support that's available, how to apply for that support, and also we'll be covering student loan repayments and some information for anybody looking to study part-time as well. So to be eligible for student finance from Student Finance England, you need to have settled status in the UK. If you're a UK citizen, you were born in the UK, you've lived here all your life, then you have automatically got settled status. If you are from the EU, then you need to have full settled status to get full funding. If you have pre-settled status, you may be eligible for partial support, but you'll need to check with Student Finance England to find out exactly how much you're entitled to. If you're from outside the EU, then you do need to have indefinite leave to remain or no restrictions on your stay in the UK. So if you are in the UK on a visa or you are an international student, then you cannot apply to the UK government for financial support. You need to be living in the UK for 3 years prior to the start of the course, as well as having your settled status. And student finance will take into account previous higher education study. So if you've been to university in any country, the UK or elsewhere, do get in touch with us and discuss that first, because it can impact on your entitlement to funding. So the main source of funding for UK students is the student loan company, so Student Finance England, Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland. And that is in the form of a tuition fee loan, so a loan that's paid directly to the university on your behalf to cover the full cost of your tuition fees. The other element is a maintenance loan, and that is paid to you towards your living costs. There are also targeted grants for students with dependents or who have a disability or specific learning need, and I will go through those in more detail for you as well. There are also scholarships and bursaries from the university, which will be confirmed for 25 entry in due course, so do keep an eye on our website for when that information is available. I will also discuss part-time work and the rules around that, because a lot of students do work part-time to get a bit of extra money. So the tuition fees are set by the UK government and are currently £9,250 per year for UK home students. Universities can charge less than that, but they can't charge more for home students. And if you take out the tuition fee loan, if you tick the box saying, yes, please, I would like the tuition fee loan, then you start repaying your loans once you're earning more than the threshold, which is currently £25,000 a year. And I will, again, go through that in a bit more detail for you. So the living cost support, the exact amount you get depends on where you're living, so who you live with, and also your household income. So if you're living with your parents while you're studying, then you get a slightly lower amount than if you're moving away from your parents or if you're a mature learner living in your own home. If you are eligible for certain benefits, that normally means if you are a single parent or if you have a disability and are entitled to PIP or the higher level disability living allowance, then you can apply for a slightly higher loan from Student Finance. So the exact amount you get, as I say, will depend on your individual circumstances. And just to go through that in a bit more detail for you, the information is on the chart that you can see. So if your household income is less than £25,000 a year, you will get the maximum maintenance loan. If your household income is more than 65,000 a year, then you'll get the minimum maintenance loan, and if your household income's somewhere in the middle, then you'll get somewhere in the middle. So that gives you an idea of the maximum and minimum support you can get depending on whether you're living with your parents, independently, etc. So do have a look at that and see if you can work out how much support you're likely to get. The income they take into account is the income of the people you live with. That's normally fairly straightforward. So for students who are under 25, they will look at your parents' income. So that's normally the parent or parents that you live with. For mature learners, so those over 25, it will be your partner if you have one. If you're independent, you live on your own, then they don't take anybody's income into account, so you would get the maximum support. If you are under 25 but have a child of your own or are married, then you can apply as an independent student, but you do need to provide evidence, otherwise they will ask you for your parents' income. So for students starting in 24-25, they look at the household income for the tax year 22-23. For those of you looking to start in September 25, that will be the household income for the tax year 23-24. So the additional grants for students with dependents, if you have an adult who's financially dependent on you, so you have a partner that doesn't work, then you can apply for the adult dependence grant. If you have dependent children, you can apply for the parent learning allowance, plus there is support for childcare which is paid directly to the childcare provider. Do bear in mind these grants are very tightly means tested against income, so don't assume that just because you've got children you'll automatically get the maximum. You will need to have that means tested, so apply for your funding nice and early to make sure you know exactly how much support you're getting when you start. The Disabled Students Allowance is for students who have a disability or a specific learning need. So if you do fall into that category, make sure you tick the box saying you need additional support. Student Finance will then ask you to do a needs assessment. They will assess how much support you're entitled to in terms of what your actual needs are. So it's not a general pot of money to be used for anything. You need to be assessed to find out exactly what your needs are, and then the money is used to pay for that support. If you're looking to do nursing or one of the allied health professional courses, you can apply for additional support on top of the standard student finance. So you need to apply for the standard student finance first, and then you'll apply for your NHS training grant on top of that. And that is £5,000 in each year of the course, the standard 3 years of the course, so not for the foundation year if you're doing the 4-year route. And you will be paid that. It's not means tested on household income, and that's in recognition of the fact that you're doing unpaid placements for the NHS as part of your course. If you've got dependents, then you can apply for an additional £2,000 per year, and if you're doing one of the shortage subjects, which is mental health nursing, learning disability nursing and podiatry, then there's additional £1,000 per year on top of that. So that's covered all of the financial support you're entitled to when you come to university, and I will now go through the student loans and how you repay those. So the repayments start the April after you leave university, but only if you're earning more than the threshold, which is £25,000 a year. So if you're earning less than that, or if you've decided to stay at university and do a master's, then you're not earning, you don't pay anything back at all. Once you are earning above the threshold, then the government will take 9% of how much you earn above that threshold. And the repayments are taken automatically through the PAYE scheme. So if you're in normal employment in the UK, then you won't notice you're paying it back. You'll just pay it back with your tax. So when you make a payment at the end, out of your salary, you'll get your pay slip and it will say tax, national insurance, student loan repayments. So those repayments will be paid automatically back to the government. If you go and live and work abroad, then you will need to set up a direct debit to pay your loans back to the government directly. But if you are working in the UK, then that will be done through the tax system. The loan is cancelled after 40 years, and the only interest added to the loans is the cost of living, the retail price index. So there's no additional interest added other than the cost of living. To give you an idea of how much you'll pay back, depending on how much you're earning, and bear in mind that the repayments are based on how much you earn, not how much you owe. So it doesn't matter how much you've borrowed. If you are earning £30,000 a year, then the government will take £37.50 a month off you, regardless of how much you've borrowed. As you can see from the numbers on the chart, if you're earning £70,000 a year plus, you'll pay back your loans quite quickly and you'll probably pay it all off before the 40 years are up. If you're earning £30,000 or £35,000 a year, you will never pay back all of your student loans and the remainder will be written off. So I'll just go through the funding for part-time students in case anybody's interested in part-time. So it's the standard funding that you're entitled to, the same as full-time, but the payments are pro rata. So what that means is if you're studying 50% of a full-time route, then you'll get 50% of the maintenance loan. The tuition fee loan is paid directly to the university in the same way as for full-timers. So there's very little difference in the process whether you're studying full-time or part-time. If you do need to keep up to date, do keep an eye on our website. So the scholarships webpage will be updating with the 25 entry information soon. And the Money Matters web pages contain all of the information that I've been through on the slides today. You can also keep an eye on the .gov.uk website, which is where you apply for your funding. Plus, there are a number of other useful websites, Money Saving Expert, UCAS, which will go through a lot more information on what you're entitled to and how it all works. But do get in contact with us if you have any further questions or if you need more information. Thank you.